Right. Now we're getting ready to go over the practice test for Unit 7, or special right triangles, or I guess right triangles. Um, and it's only 17 questions, so this video should be a quick one. So the first question is, as you guys can see, they give you says Maria needs to clean out the gutter on her house. To do this, she has to lean a ladder against the side of the house using the diagram. What is the length of the ladder she will use? So the good thing is, in this picture, they already gave you the picture, right? I don't really need to draw the ladder or the house. So you always have to start with what is given. They gave you the length from feet of the house to the ladder is 6 feet. This is 12 feet up, so you're looking for the hypotenuse. So this is an easy a square plus b square equals to c square question. So one thing you need to remember is, if it's this a 90-degree, the side opposite to it would always be your c. So you just put 6 squared plus 12 squared equals to c squared. Number 2, find x, the height of the water tower. So let's go see what that picture looked like. Next page. So again, you're looking for this height, the water tower, and they give you one side. So we can name that your A. This can be named as B. And the side opposite to your 90-degree is your C. So this is also an A squared plus B squared equals to C squared question. The only difference is now you have the C. So you have to do 45 squared plus x squared equals to 51 squared. Okay? And another thing you can do is, before you even answer the question, there's one choice that you can eliminate. The highest number for this length is 51, so you know it cannot be 61. So it has to be one of the three choices. All right, number 3, given the figure below, which is the height of the flagpole. Again, a simple a squared, b squared, c squared question. A, b, and c is what you guys have, and just solve it and find the answer. All right, so number 4, I'm going to put this here so that it's not covering what we're reading. A moving track has a height of 4 feet. The distance from the bottom edge of a ramp on the ground to the track is 7 feet. What is the length of the ramp? So I don't see any drawing in this one, right? Do we see any drawing for number 4? No. So now this is the one you actually have to draw. So you have a moving track has a height of 4 feet. The distance from the bottom of the edge of the ramp on the ground to the track is 7 feet. What is the length of the ramp? So this is also a right triangle question, because I'm looking for the length of the ramp. Okay, so this might be the track here. I don't even know how to draw a track, but this is it. So they said what was the length of the ramp is what they're looking for. So when you move something, this is the ramp you're going to be using, right, to go up and down. The edge of the ramp on the ground to the track is 7 feet. So this is 7 feet, and they also gave you moving track has a height of 4 feet. So this is going to be 4 feet. So the only difference with this question is that they didn't give you the drawing, but this is also a squared, b squared, c squared question. All right, here is another, looks like an a squared, b squared, c squared question. The only difference is you have to be very careful when you read this problem. It says a 50-foot ladder extends from a fire truck to the building window as shown below. The base of the ladder is 20 feet from the building. How high above the ground does the ladder reach to the nearest foot? So we want to know from ground all the way to this. This is my x. But I already know the distance from here to here, right? This is already 15. And if I use a squared, this can be my a, b squared, c squared is only going to give me the length from here to here. So what you guys have to do is, the first thing I'll do is, okay, 20 squared plus b squared equals to 50 squared. So when you do this, you will get b equals to a number. I don't know what that is, but you got it to solve for x is going to be b plus whatever this length is, which is 15 feet. So whatever you get as b, put it in here, add it up, and you will get the answer. And another a squared, b squared, c squared question. All right, number 6. It says ABC is a rectangle. What is the perimeter of the square BEFC? So they want to know the perimeter of this square. So this square happened to be the hypotenuse of this rectangle. So you got to find C. So you have to do 5 squared plus 6 squared equals to C squared. Then, so I guess we can go ahead and do this. 25 plus 36 equals to C squared. You add up 25 plus 36 gives you 61 equals to C squared. C is going to be the square root of 61. So I know this is the square root of 61. Since it's a square, each of the side is going to be the square root of 61. Square root of 61. And 61 cannot be simplified. Then you just have to times it by 4 because the question is asking you what is the perimeter of BEFC. So you have to do it 4 times. Which of the following set of length can be represented to measure the side of a right triangle? Again, it's a squared, b squared, c squared. So you have to try all of them to see if this is true. Question mark 6 squared. If not, you cross it out, you move on. One thing I need, this is all in order. So, so far, I don't know what D is. D is also in order. So since all of them are in order, least to greatest, the last number would be your C. But if it was not in order, make sure you put it in order and make always the largest number as your C. So figure it out how to do it. Number 8 is the same thing. The length of the side of a triangle given. Which triangle must be a right triangle? The only difference in this one, they did not give you the sides in order. You see how 17, 8, 15? So if I'm doing this, I'll do 8 squared plus 15 squared equals to 17 squared. Is it? I mean, we don't know if it's going to be. So if it is, that's the one you pick. If not, then you move on to the next one. So make sure you're doing the same thing. So number 9 is similar to, actually we did this question in our quiz, a squared, b squared, c squared. So you have to try 5 squared, 9 squared, 12 squared. Is that correct? If not, 5, 9, 13. 5, 9, 15, 5, 9, 6. If not, then you do 5, 12, 13. So you just have to try the numbers a squared, b squared, c squared to see if you can find it. All right, here the right triangle shown below is an isosceles. So an isosceles triangle, meaning the two legs are congruent. So there are 2 ways you can do it at this time. One, you can still use a squared, b squared, c squared because I know the a and b are still going to be the same number, right? A squared, b squared, so this is your a, this is your b, this becomes your c. So when you end up to x squared equals to 144 squared, so 144, not 144, 14 squared. So that's what I got, 196. So I put 196 here. And to solve for x squared, you got to divide this by 2, right? You got to take that, divide it by 2. So that's going to be, when you divide it by 2, x squared is going to be 98. So x would be the square root of 98. And of course, you have to simplify it. I don't know if the answers are given in decimals or not. So yes, a simplified form. That's one method. So those of you who were here, almost every day we covered this section. You remember we went over special right triangles. This is a special right triangle problem because it's an isosceles triangle. This is 45, 45. So this is, we're going to use leg hypotenuse. The ratio is 1, 1 square root of 2. So I'm looking for x where x is, the hypotenuse is given to be 14. So you can easily say this is going to be 1 over x equals square root of 2 over 14. Cross multiply it. X will be 14 divided by square root of 2, which end up, if you guys remember how we simplify it, it would give you this number. But whichever method is easier for you at this point, you can use. All right, so another number 11, which says, which is the length of AB? So this is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to put X. In the diagram below, given the length of BC is 6 inches. So they gave you the 6 inches to see. This is the same thing as number 10. See how the two angles are given to be the same? That tells you that's an isosceles triangle. So that's going to be an x. So again, you can do x squared plus x squared equals to 6 squared. Or you can use your special right triangles, leg, hypotenuse, to find it. All right, number 12. ABC is an equilateral triangle with the side length of 10 inches. So you know what an equilateral triangle looks like, right? From your properties of when we learn about triangles. So it's an equilateral triangle. Each side is going to be 10, 10, which makes this 5 and 5 because it bisects it. This is 60, 60. This would be 30 and 30 because it cuts it in half. So the question is, what is AD? This is what we're looking for. So whenever you see a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle, you can use short leg, long leg, hypotenuse. If you remember, the scale factor is 1, square root of 3, 2. And what I have here is I know the short leg will be 5. I don't know the longer leg, but I also know the hypotenuse will be 10 because that's going to be your hypotenuse, right? So easily you can cross multiply this number. So 1 times x is x. 5 square root of 3 is going to be the x. All right. So for those of you who do not remember this, you can also use a squared, b squared, c squared, because if you know this is 5, you can do 5 squared plus x squared equals to 10 squared. That's another method. A third method we can use is, we just finished our trig ratio, right? So I can say, okay, I know the degree. Based on the degree, I'm looking for the opposite. And hypotenuse is given, or opposite and adjacent is given, whichever one you wanted to use. So I'll just use OH, which is sine, right? Sine of 60 is opposite is x over 10. This is over 1. All you have to do is multiply it. 10 sine of 60. So, you know, whichever, if you do it this way, the only difference here is if I do 10 sine of 60. Before I do sine, I always go to my mode and check. You see how my mode is not in degree form? So you have to go back and change it into degree. Otherwise, your answer will be wrong. So second quit. So I'll just put 10 times sine of 60, which gives me 8.66. But here you can see it's 5 the square root of 3. So I'm going to see 5 square root of 3 is the same as 8.66, which it is the same. So if you use this method, you're going to end up with a decimal number. The same thing here, but this one you can actually simplify the radical. So if you know how to simplify radicals or change the the radicals into decimal to see which one matches. All right, using the diagram below, which is what's the measure of angle C? So clearly, you can see this, right? It's a 6, 6 square root of 3, and 12. You should be able to identify this is a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle because of the square root of 3 and the hypotenuse is doubled the short leg. But let's say you didn't. You don't know what is that. So what you can do is they ask for to find the measure of angle C, right? So use your trig ratio. From angle C, I have an opposite side. I have the hypotenuse here and I have the adjacent side. So I can use any of my trig. So I can use sine of angle C is 6 over 12. Okay, that's one option. Or I can say cos of C is 6 the square root of 3 over 12. Whichever one you decide to use, they all will give you the same answer. I can even use tangent. Tangent of C is opposite over adjacent, right? 6 over 6 the square root of 3. So I can show you how all of them are going to be the same. So if you used to want to do sine of C, but remember, since I'm looking for the angle C is not given, I have to do the inverse function. So I have to do second sine, and I can put 6 divided by 12. After I do that, I need to close my parentheses. See how it gives you 30 degree? Or I can use second cos 6. So this one you have to be careful because 6 to the square root of 3, um, I'll put it in the parentheses just to make sure. 6 the square root of 3, close the parentheses twice, right? Divided by 12. So I don't want to make a mistake. And press enter. That gives you also 30. The last one is second tan, 6 divided by 6 the square root of 3, close parentheses twice. Because it opened a parentheses when you're doing it. I see now that I made a mistake. Oh, H. I need to close it, to open and close it. So what I will do, second tan, and I also do alpha y equals. Oh, this one doesn't have the, hold on, alpha y equals. Yeah, this one doesn't have it. Which calculator did I open? So what I will do is 6 divided by, open a parentheses, 6 the square root of 3, close the parentheses, open 1, 2, 3. So I have to close it 3 times and press enter. That will give you 30. See how if you did not close it, because it's going to divide it but multiply it. So that's why it's going to, you have to make sure you close the parentheses. So either ways, whichever one you do, you have to pick A as your answer. All right, this is number 13. I'm running out of time. All right, so here again, find the cosine of angle B. Cos is what? A, H. So from B, A is what? H is what? This one. So all you have to do is 5 square root of 3 divided by 10 and find it. Number 15, from a point 12 feet from the base of the building, the angle of elevation from the ground to the top of the building is 70 degree, which is closest to the height of the building. So I need to know X here. Remember, we circle always the angle and we label based on the angle. So based on 70, this side is my opposite, this side is my adjacent. Then I look at, okay, is it sine, OH, cos, AH, tan, OA. So I have an opposite side and I'm looking for the adjacent, I'm looking for the opposite side and I have the adjacent. OA is tan, so I'll just say tangent of 70 is opposite is X over 12. And one thing you need to remember, if the number's at the bottom, X is 12 times tangent of 70, okay? And you just find the right answer. 16. All right, this one is very important. Given a triangle ABC, which statement must be true? Tangent of C and cos of A are the same. So remember, this is tangent of C is going to be tan is A, OA, right? So kind of you have to write what ratio it is because they're going to, you want to know which one has the same ratio. Tan C has OA, so it's going to be BA over BC, right? All right, so cos A, cos is AO, no, AH is what's going to be. So it's going to be AB the hypotenuse is AC. Do they have the same ratio? No, so it cannot be A. So now I'm going to try B. Cos of B, cos B from B, can I have a cos B? No, because it's a 90-degree angle, so I can't have cos B. Or sine B, so I can't have that one too, right? So I have to try sine of A. Sine A is opposite over hypotenuse, BC over AC, right? And then cos of C, cos C is adjacent, which is BC, hypotenuse is AC. So you can clearly see those two has the same ratio. So you pick C. All right, the last question of the day, using the trig, the triangle below, which is the correct ratio for cos B. Cos B is AH, right? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent over hypotenuse, A, cos is here, over hypotenuse. But I can't come up with it because I don't have A. So what should I do to find A? That's something missing, so right? So I have to do A squared plus B squared equals to 10 squared, C squared. So when you do this, you know X is going to be 6. So A is going to be 6. So cos is 6 over 10. Cos B is 6 over 10, but I don't see 6 over 10 in my choice. That means you have to simplify this. By 2 is 3, by 2 is 5. So the ratio is 3 over 5, which is, in this case, A, right? So this is just a quick review for your trig ratio. You still need to go back and look into your notes and make sure you understand it, because your test is next class. So those of you, if I'm going to see you today or tomorrow, your test would be for even day. Your test is Monday. If we are in school, review and test the 25th. For odd day, the test should be the 22nd, but I don't know if we're going to be here or not. But regardless, you need to be ready. This is the last test that goes into your quarter. Make sure you study so that you can do well. All right? Have a good day.